In this session, we're going to learn how to install Joomla on an ISP where one-click installs are not available. In this case, we're using HostGator, who at the time of this recording is still using Joomla 1.5 for their Fantastico one-click installs. So we're going to do one manually, just in case you're in the same boat, or you want more control over how your installs are done. Of course, you'll need to have a place to install Joomla on your web host. We're not going to cover that in this tutorial because the sheer variety of where they can be done. You could do it in a subfolder, a subdomain, a park domain. But again, I just encourage you, put it in a subfolder at this point until you're ready to go. Or if this is going to be for a site that's going to go live, I encourage you to put it in the root directory of your domain. We're going to be using a subdomain because this is a live domain already. The first thing you need to do is download Joomla. We're downloading 1.6.3 today. That's the most up-to-date version as of this recording. And so we're going to grab that and tuck that away. Leaving it zipped up. Don't uncompress the file at this point. Just leave it compressed and we'll upload it to our server in just a moment. From cPanel then, a couple of things on HostGator we need to be aware of. HostGator by default doesn't have the best PHP setup for Joomla, so we need to enable php-ini easy config. Do a search for globals and just double check that registered globals is turned off. If you've changed this before for a domain in HostGator, it remembers it, but just in case, just double check that. The next thing we need to do is upload the files. Click on File Manager, and we're going to go into our public HTML directory, and I've set up a subdomain for myself called Joomla Fun Pit. Just always make sure that you're going to upload and install things to the right directory. Next step, upload that zip file that you just downloaded. And this is the reason it's easier to leave it zipped, is because uploading one file other than the several thousand that are in the Joomla directory, it's just much quicker. All right, once that's complete, close that window, hit refresh, and now we'll see our Joomla package installed. Go ahead and extract that file and make sure, again, public HTML/Joomla Fun Pit, good to go. And our files are extracted. You'll notice all the standard files for a Joomla install. The next step is to create a database, and usually I just use the database wizard. So in this case, we're going to call it Joomla Fun Pit because I'm going to keep everything consistent. And this is where you really need to use strong passwords. I highly recommend that your database password is very strong. Anything less than very strong is not strong enough. So go ahead and make sure that whatever password you use is very strong. You might want to use the password generator because they are completely random and they will all be very strong. But whatever you need, you'll need to remember that. So I've created my database and I've created my user, and I'm giving my user all privileges. Notice Joomla Fun Pie, because I can't have more characters than that in my username, and Joomla Fun Pit. I'm ready to go. So my files are installed, my database is ready, this is my subdomain, and it brings up the now familiar installation screen. Everything is good, and again, if any of this was red, you would need to go back and enable PHP easy config, fix that error there. But HostGator seems to have maybe caught up a little bit. It's a MySQL database, localhost, the username, my very strong password, the database name, and I'm going to leave the table prefixes the same. If I did everything right, it comes up with the FTP configuration. If you made a mistake in one of those steps before, it would come up and tell you that, sorry, something was wrong, we couldn't connect. And now call it Joomla Fun Pit. My username, my email, my username. I'm going to encourage you to change that from admin to something different. You may not even want to use your first name. Again, this is now a live site, so make sure you're using strong passwords here as well. If you want, install the sample data. Of course, you don't have to, but it gives us a nice place to start. When we have the sample data installed, it's now installed successfully. Click Next. And Joomla gives me in 1.6 a nice little button to automatically remove the installation folder so I don't have to go back into my file manager or my FTP program to do that. We should be good to go. And here we are, Joomla Fun Pit, ready to go with all the sample data. And that's how you do a manual installation on an internet service provider.